So, welcome to Be Creative, Be Free. From the world renowned to the neighbor next door, we feature individuals living their creative truths with the goal to inspire and educate our audience towards creativity in themselves. And today we're going to explore the world of suit and motion capture performance with Kurt Carley. In addition to all his feature film credits, like Godzilla, Dungeons and Dragons, and the Underworld movies, he's also well known for a variety of fan films, including most notably Batman Dead End, where he appears as the Predator. This is the type of career that requires reserves of creativity and patience. Imagine living inside any number of monster suits of all shapes, sizes, and limitations and being asked to act. So this is going to be fun. So welcome, Kurt.
Thank you very much.
Can you introduce yourself and what you like to do creatively?
I'm Kurt Carley, and creatively, I play monsters in movies and TV shows.
So let's start from the beginning. So how did this start?
I grew up in a small town back east. We had one movie theater in our town, so I would go to movies whenever I could. One day when I was a boy, I got to go see a movie called Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. And so I'm sitting there in the theater watching Godzilla walk through the miniature sets. And I said to myself, I'm going to do that one day. Several years later, I was on set in a Godzilla suit, about to do exactly what I saw in that Godzilla versus the Smog Monster movie years ago.
Amazing. So how old were you when you saw the Godzilla versus the Smog Monster?
I think I was about 10, about 10 years old, I think.
Pretty impressionable time. Do you remember your first creative memory before you saw Godzilla and the Smog Monster?
Oh, before that, I would say drawing. I used to draw a lot. And we always had lots of scratch paper around the house because my father was a printer. And so we always had lots of paper. And so I would draw all the time. A lot of like science fiction kind of things, Star Trek, for example. So that's like my first memory of anything creative I would really do. Wasn't really acting out, it was drawing.
Do you think that kind of might have had that influence? Were you into comics at all as well? That kind of thing, like science fiction books that then had you tried to mimic drawing, or was that kind of something that you kind of dreamed up?
It was a little bit of both. There was a lot of drawing of like the Star Trek or Lost in Space stuff, which was science fiction kind of stuff when I was a kid. As I got older, it morphed into a little bit of music and creating some of my own, drawing some of my own things that I was inspired by films and TV shows that I'd seen.
So kind of like creating your own characters on paper first.
Yes, yeah.
Great. And then was that something that was fostered as a kid? Did you do that? Did you find that in school or outside of school that kind of helped foster that?
I wouldn't say really fostered. It was not discouraged by my parents. I know when my dad was a little kid in the this would have been the 1920s, he won a drawing contest that a big newspaper did. And he won
Really?
like a $5 savings bond or something like that. It was never looked down upon if I was going to draw, get out a piece of paper and a pencil and draw something. And I had an older sister who was pretty good. She was a pretty good artist. So of course, she didn't pursue that as an adult. But yeah, drawing was that was an okay activity. It wasn't. Like I said, it wasn't looked down on in the house I grew up in.
It was allowed. You could express yourself and try
Yes.
those things. So you see Godzilla and the Smog Monster. You're inspired. Where does it go from there? Did you make films as a kid or start playing around with that kind of stuff, or did you move into theater?
There was a very fallow period between seeing Godzilla versus the Smog Monster till about, I think, maybe ninth grade, and a friend had some class in school where he had to make like a Super 8 film. And so we made a Godzilla movie. And so I played Godzilla in that, which was kind of odd. And
Did you make your own costumes for that?
cannot tell you how low tech this monster movie we made. We
I love
just
it.
took green food coloring and put it on my face.
Nice. You got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Well, with the camera angle, we shot it
Yeah.
looking up, with and I think I had a green World War II helmet on also.
You're shooting from below. Give it that menacing look
Yes.
with the monster with the green face. kind
Right.
of thing. Yes,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah. But we did miniature work, we would
Mm.
shoot someone standing next to the garage, and then we had a miniature garage mate with a little green army man, and I would step on that and etc. Yeah.
Doing your own miniature work to
Yeah.
scale, so to speak,
Yes.
at the
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
That's great. That's great. That's so cool. I did the same with a camera back in those times. We'd go out, try to see we could create same kind of things you see on film as
Sure.
in your
Yeah.
backyard. Little try to blow things up, and some special effects that were probably not legal at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
I would
What
imagine.
you mean?
But well, that's great. So you're already starting to kind of have fun with your friends, putting movies together. And I love the low tech DIY. That's the best.
Yeah.
It's like knowing how to work with what you have. And
Yes.
did you go right into film, or how did you start to make your way into this work?
After I got out of high school, I took a couple years off and I got a job uh, and made a little money. And then I went to school, and then I went to college and I studied theater
Hmm.
to be an actor. And that was a 4-year program. I was very fortunate. I had a couple of really good movement teachers. In addition
Mm,
to movement classes I had to take, I also had to take 3 years of dance classes also.
mm,
My first movement teacher was a woman, a European woman, Madame Judette.
hmm.
She had a little tambourine with a mallet, and she would just give us these scenarios that we would have to create in front of her right away. So there were no props. It was just us in a empty dance studio with her.
Wow.
And if I heard it once, I heard it a million times. She was very much into the specificity of action. She didn't want anything muddy. She wanted to be able to tell exactly what you were doing just by your movement, which when you're doing motion capture or in a monster suit,
Hmm.
that's a big help if you can be very specific about what you're doing. And then I had another teacher who he was in Mummenschanz, and he was really great at breaking down movement from like like moving the position of your hips as to the position of your shoulders,
Mm,
and what looks powerful, what looks weak.
mm,
And I rely on that a lot when you're shooting something. If the scene calls for the creature or whatever you're doing to have a certain attitude or a certain circumstance that happens to them, I rely on that a lot.
I guess your training paid off early on, right? It's probably still in there every time,
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
because everything has to be very specific.
Yeah.
It is like a dance in a lot of ways with the camera.
Yes, there is a lot of like when I've been an actor on set, and I'm not in a monster suit.
Hmm.
It's a completely different headspace to be in because I can, as an actor, I can see everything around me. I have great peripheral vision. I can hear everything that's being said.
Hmm.
If they're going to change the lens, I know it's going to take a little while. If they're going to, do a different angle, do the same scene but from a different angle, I can
Mm,
hear all that. I can, if I need to get up and go over to the craft service table, get a water, I can do that myself. I don't need someone to do it for me.
hmm.
I might even be able to, shoot a take and then go to Video Village and see what it looked like, and like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's the framing of it, and
Right.
but when you're in a monster suit, all that stuff is off the table. So
Right.
there is a bit of a dance with the DP, really, actually the camera operator,
Mm,
and myself, because there's a lot of times that I'll be on set and I know we're shooting me, but I have no idea if it's me from head to toe, if it's me from the waist up. And
right.
so I'm like, are you on a 35 millimeter lens? Are
Mm,
you on a 50 millimeter lens? So the
hmm.
frame, so I kind of know the framing. At least I'm in the ballpark, so I don't
Right.
have to uh, waste uh, waste time because I've been in situations before where I have no idea. It's me and several other guys in suits,
Yeah.
and the camera's focusing on me, and I have no idea because the scene before we were shooting, I was not the focus, so I had to keep all my movements very small so I don't steal focus from the person the camera's really focusing on.
Hmm.
And then they changed the focus to me, but no one tells me, and then the director has to come up and say, "Well, that really stunk. Like, come
Yeah.
on." I was like, "Oh, I had no idea that I was the focus, the camera was on me this time." So,
Do they help you out a little bit throughout direction? Like we're focusing to you. Anything? And they still you're just out there without a lifeline.
yeah, yeah, and I don't want this to come off like a complaint.
No,
It's just
no,
it's just the nature of the beast where
no. It's fascinating.
you're in a suit and everyone just assumes that you can see and hear everything that they're talking about.
Right.
I've been in suits many times where they say, "Look at the camera," and I have a camera right in front of me, and I'm looking at it, and they're like, "No, look in the camera," and I'm looking in the camera, but there's a camera over here
Right.
that I can't see,
And you have
and they're
nothing
like,
here. Yeah.
Exactly, because yeah, I'm like, and so, but that's part of the job. It's part of the fun.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Part of the fun process
Yeah,
of getting that right shot. Right.
right.
It's like it's that dance again. What were some of the breaks that you got along the way? Did you found okay? I'm kind of moving. I could do this. This is something I want to continue to do.
I was in college and we did the professional company did a production of Little Shop of Horrors.
Mm,
And there was two professional puppeteers came in to build the plants for this production.
hmm.
And so I kind of was able to wedge myself into doing the puppeteering of the plant for the second act of the show.
Hmm.
And these two gentlemen were very nice, and I was very good. And so they knew Marty in New York, who created the plants for the show originally, and said, "Hey, if
Cool.
you ever need somebody for the show, you should
Hmm.
look at this guy." So a few months went by, and I got a phone call out of the blue, like Little Shop of Horrors wants you to come to New York in 2 days and audition.
Oh wow.
So, I was on a plane the next day and, auditioned, and I was very, very lucky to get a job, very lucky to get a job just as a temporary understudy in the
Mm,
show. So I went from doing the second act show, in school to, being the understudy, and you have to there's 4 plants in the show, and the puppeteer does 3 of them.
mm.
Puppeteers 3 of the plants. So I got
Okay.
thrown into the deep end really quickly. But Marty Robinson, who created the plant for the show, he was my teacher, and he was really, really great.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So did you? So you puppeteered all four? All the well, you said puppeteering the three, and then is one in a different kind of suit, or how?
Yeah, the fourth one that I don't do, that the puppeteer doesn't do, that is a puppet that is manipulated by the actor who plays Seymour.
Oh, I
And
see.
so he's holding the potted plant, and he has a fake hand on the potted plant,
Mm,
and then his other hand is in manipulating uh, the Audrey
the
2 puppet.
the
Yeah,
other two. I
for
gotcha.
a song that he does with the urchins.
That's right. That's right. Now, being the plant, was that? Are you inside the plant itself, and then you're working the different parts from within?
Yeah, the in the first time you do the plant, it's just like a regular hand puppet in a little small pot,
Hmm.
and then the next plant you do is towards the end of the second act. The plant sings the song "Get It" with Seymour, and you're seated, you're safety belted into a chair inside a large planter, a large plant pot,
Uh-huh.
and you have boots on your legs that are like roots, and
Mm,
then they put the plant on top of you, and you sit there with your legs crossed inside the plant
yeah.
um, through. So I haven't done the show in a long time, but through
It's
several
okay.
songs, and you sit there with holding a piece of string to keep the plant closed. So you're
Right.
just
Right. Right.
yeah doing this, just waiting for your song to come up. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just waiting for your cue. You're just waiting for it to come through. and then you're
Right.
just
Yeah.
stuck in this little space the whole time.
Yes. Yeah.
I would say it takes guts for those that are maybe claustrophobic. Uh, I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't know if I could pull that one off.
Yeah. Fortunately, I've never really had a claustrophobia problem,
That's
but yeah,
good.
if you were claustrophobic, it would not be fun for someone.
So how long was the run for Little Shop of Horrors?
Well, I wasn't, I showed up in that show like in the final year of the show. So,
Mm,
and I originally was only there for 2 months because their regular understudy had to go away and do another production.
hmm
So, I was there as an understudy, uh, and then after my first 2 months, if someone got another gig or they had to go away for a week or two, they would call me up, and I would go up to New York and be the understudy for the show.
mm.
And so, and then the show closed almost like a year after I was done with the show. The show closed. I mean, it had run for 5 years, I think, off
hmm
Broadway at the
hmm
time, and it started in 1982.
hmm
So it was getting towards the end of its run when I showed up.
Gotcha. And then did that from that experience, is that where you kind of started to land some roles in film? Was it kind of same network of people, or how did
Yeah,
that work?
yes and no. Marty introduced me to a couple of guys who had their own puppet company.
Hmm.
Bill Connolly and Addis Williams. There was a production of Alice in Wonderland on Broadway with puppets, and they did puppets for that. I believe they did puppets for lots of commercials, and like if there was like a soap opera, they needed puppets for like 6 weeks. They had a storyline with puppets, and so they did the puppets for that. They did puppets, like I said, commercials and movies, and so I ended up doing large scale puppets for them that were like giant characters that walked around like shopping malls and
Gotcha.
special events.
So they
Uh,
would so they would make the suits and you would perform in them. Is that kind
yes,
of are the
exactly. Yeah.
puppets? Got you. Wow.
So I did that, also at the same time, after Little Shop of Horrors stopped its run off Broadway in New York, a lot of theaters around the country uh, started to do productions in the summertime.
Hmm.
So I ended up going around the country a lot in the summer doing productions of Little Shop of Horrors because uh, being the puppeteer of the plant and Little Shop, it's kind of a unique skill,
Yeah.
and producers don't have to teach me how to do the plant.
Hmm.
Even though Marty, who designed a really simple and easy to understand and work plant, but still, I'd done the show, I had experience, and it's a little different than just hiring an actor and them learning their lines because
Right.
it's a little more complicated than that in some aspects.
Yeah.
But and then in the meantime, I waited tables like the classic story, like waiting tables and auditioned
Right.
and whatever. But mostly it was all any jobs outside of waiting tables. It was puppet jobs.
Hmm. Wow. How do you prepare to play a plant? How do you prepare to play a werewolf? Like how do you go about that process?
Right. Well, like for the plant, it was a musical, and a
Sure.
lot of the stuff that like any songs that I had to quote unquote sing, which if you don't know, like I was inside the plant lip syncing to
hmm
someone else doing the voice of the plant. One of the first things I did was I went to the sound guy and I said I need a copy of the show
Mm.
of the voice of Ron Taylor who did the voice of the plant. And then I put that and I just listened to that constantly,
Mm.
whatever I was doing. So I got his rhythm down and all that.
Mm.
But there was also choreography. Even though I'm a man-eating plant, I have choreography that I have to do that the actors expect me to do. So
Mhm.
there was a lot of intense um, choreography, kind of like being in a dance class, like
Mm.
just playing the music over and over again, and like you have to be here on this beat and there on this beat. And one of the toughest things was in the Get It song, the mouth is moving like this fast, kind of
Hmm.
the plant's kind of rapping, but your foot had to just be doing this. The
Hmm.
root had to be doing this, and so it was a little bit like playing drums, where
Right.
you know, and that took a. I got a lot of help from the guy that I was taking over for,
Yeah.
in breaking down with the script. Okay, like the foot comes down on this word, okay, and then it goes up on this word.
That interdependence, right?
Yeah,
It's like the mental interdependence with all your limbs having to be.
yes.
Wow.
But then, like to play werewolves, and there's no choreography really
Hmm.
unless you're fighting someone, and then you have a stunt coordinator telling you what to do and working out the fight.
Hmm.
Uh, but to play a werewolf, for example, it's a lot of times the costume that you're wearing will dictate what you can and what you can't do.
Okay.
You might have this great idea about doing something, but the foam latex that the suit is made out of, it might, like they might want you to turn your head like this, and you can't,
Mm.
because it's kind of like what Michael Keaton said when he wore the Batman costume the first time. He couldn't do this, so he had to do this, and so um, the director might say, like, turn your head, and so we like, no,
Got
no,
it.
just turn your head. Like, we can't.
Right.
We just can't do it. So the suit will dictate sometimes what you can and can't do, and then you have the choreography that the stunt coordinator wants you to do too,
Mm.
um, and then you have your own ideas about what is going to look correct or what would work for the scene, and then
Right.
you throw that all in with what camera lens are we using, what's the lighting like, you
Hmm.
know uh, what do we have to get done in this scene? So,
How much time do you usually have with the suit ahead of time?
well, once they're done, once the suits are done,
Hmm.
if they're making a suit from absolute scratch, like what they do is the first thing is they you go to a shop, an effects shop, and they make a mold of you, kind of like a mannequin.
Hmm.
And a lot of times they kind of make that mold of you in a position similar to what the position of the creature, or like the werewolf's going to be, for example.
Okay.
So then they make like a fiberglass uh, mannequin of you, and then they cover
Hmm.
that with clay, and then they sculpt the suit on top of that, and then a mold is made of that, and then that is turned into foam latex,
Hmm.
and then some very, very talented seamstresses, and those people, they put the suit together, all the stuff that goes under the suit,
Hmm.
and they sew and glue all together all the foam latex parts.
Mm.
So then you get a little bit of time in the suit, but it's got to be painted, and then the suit's got to be painted. So after that all happens, then they pack it up in a box and they ship it to wherever the movie's going to be made. And then you get to location, and then that's when you can get in the suit, because what happens usually is the director and the producer wants to see a dog and pony show, see what
Hmm.
they look like. So then you get in the suit, and then you move around, and you've already had a little discussion with the director generally about what he or she wants,
Hmm.
and uh, so you probably get, you can rehearse as much as you like,
Hmm.
and but it's not like I can put that suit on by myself. I need four people to help me get dressed. So it's
Right.
also it's a production.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to get in the suit, takes a little while to get out of the suit, and then the suit has to be taken care of, because they rip, as well as they're made. After a while, they rip and they need to be
Mm.
repaired, and they try to keep them pristine and beautiful for camera. So there's a bit of a seesaw thing where doing too
Right.
much.
Going and checking, make sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've also gotten on there and you've gotten the costume on, the suit on. You get on to set, and then you start realizing there's need still be some alterations. They or like you said, for movement purposes. Have they ever
yeah.
had to kind of alter the suit as you go, kind of thing for that kind of
Um,
thing?
sometimes I don't know that so much, but
Mm,
like what might happen, for example, is under the arm of the suit, you just rip,
rip it.
and then right then and there, like, okay, we are just gonna slather that with black paint, So to cover up that big seam that ripped, and we'll fix that later with barge cement and whatever those wizards do to fix that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes that does happen.
Those are long days. They're probably 8 to 12 hour days in the suit. I mean, what is that like? Kind of a day in the life of being in a suit
Yeah,
like that.
well, my personal record was I was told to get ready to be ready for camera at 10 a.m.,
Mm.
which means we probably got started to get ready about 8:30 in the morning. And it was I was wearing I was a played a creature made out of human fat, and for a TV show, and
Mm.
so we were ready at 10 a.m. and didn't get called to set till 2 a.m. So I was in the suit for 16 hours waiting to work, and then you have to go to work, and then I was probably in the suit till about 4 a.m.
Wow.
So that was the longest day I've ever had. But uh, uh, generally, the way it works is okay. We want you ready for camera in an hour. So
Hmm.
about 45 minutes before they want you ready, depending on the suit, you and your 3 to 4 dressers, they get out the lubricant that you
Mm.
put on your arms
Hmm.
and on your legs, and then they spray you with a spray bottle of water to make it nice and slippery.
Hmm.
And then they put lubricant inside the suit, in the arms and the legs, for example, and then they spray water in there so it's very slippery. And then you slide in, and then all the electronics are turned on and hooked up to batteries, and they check those out. They're all remote control and make
Hmm.
sure those are working okay. And then they generally it's a zipper up the back,
Mm.
uh, as cliche as it sounds, but it's a zipper up the back.
Hmm.
And then you do a lot of this, making sure the suits on your shoulders right, and
Right.
on your arms right, and your legs. And then you go to set. You grab someone's hand or two people's hands, and to me, it was always funny. This big scary werewolf, holding hands, like like two people helping the werewolf walk to set, where they
Leading the
say,
werewolf, yeah, leading
yeah,
the werewolf
like,
to set. Like, come
yeah,
on, the
cables,
big old
yeah, watch
scary
out,
werewolf.
apple
Yeah,
box,
yeah,
on
yeah.
your right,
Watch your step. Watch your
yeah,
step,
C-stand,
werewolf.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like just they give you a stool, and you sit down, you just wait. But usually it's like the first day you show up on set and the crew sees the werewolf or whatever it is for the first time. For the first 10 minutes you're there, you're the belle of the ball, like you're the most important, interesting looking thing. And you
Right.
hear all the jokes, like,
Yeah.
oh, it looks like my ex-wife, or stuff like that. Like, oh, yeah. So, but then, everybody's got to get back to work, and then you're
Yeah.
just the guy in the
Then you're the guy in the
yeah,
suit,
the werewolf guy, yeah.
the werewolf guy. Do you like somehow train for that stuff? Like, do you just like sauna for like 14 hours a day?
The best answer is, in no way do you have to be an Olympic athlete,
Mm.
in no way, but you do need a certain level of fitness to do
Hmm.
the job, and because you're not generally, like, especially with the werewolves that I've played, you're in a werewolf costume with this thing attached to your head that weighs X amount of pounds.
Right.
And also they make these things as light as they can. They're not
Sure.
trying to torture you, but there's a certain amount of weight to it. And then you're also standing on leg extensions. So you're
Hmm.
like maybe 8 feet tall.
Hmm.
And so your thighs carry a lot of the weight of these suits a lot of times. And you need a certain level of being able to work and like do a fight scene and then do it again and do it again and do it again, and not get out of breath, because also you can't breathe as much as you want to because you're breathing through a mesh scrim, and you also have a corset on, because they want that really nice tight waist, the proportion from your shoulders down to your waist. So they have a corset that they tie you into, which restricts your breathing. So yeah, having a certain level of cardiovascular fitness is not a bad thing.
You have all kinds of different potential prosthetics and weights, and you're in odd positions for long periods of time.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, I would equate it to almost being like like almost like a catcher on a baseball team, but with weights, or
Yeah,
something, right? Or
yeah, yeah.
trying to crawl. So yeah, it can't be easy. I know you're not a complainer, but
Mhm.
it can't be easy to do for everybody. When you do a character, let's go with Godzilla. So you got to, you're inspired by a Godzilla movie. You get to play Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yep, that guy back there.
Mhm.
How do you go about getting ready to play Godzilla?
I played Baby Godzilla in the movie. Me and
Mm,
the other guys who played Baby Godzillas, and I played the Mother Godzilla. And then we also did motion capture Godzilla also.
okay.
The first thing I shot on the movie that was really used was a scene where our heroes are running out of Madison Square Garden, and they run by two baby Godzillas.
Mm,
And so it was myself and this other suit performer, Bruce, and we were bolted to the ground. So I can't move. All I can move
mm,
is my head and my hands. Uh,
okay.
I also have a remote control. I also have remote control puppeteers working with me also that are making the eyes blink, and
Mm,
if there's eyebrows that move, or the jaw opens and the tongue and all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
So it's a dance. It's a dance between between like the camera, me inside the suit, the man or woman running the remote control stuff,
Mm-hmm.
to make that all come to life.
Mm,
But as I said, we were bolted to the ground, so all I had to really worry about. I had one objective, which is we were in front of a glass door, and because it's a movie, we wanted to make it look cool. The head of the baby Godzilla had to break through the glass window, and they were fairly short takes, so it was pretty much action, and then you just start ramming your head through that glass, which sometimes broke and sometimes didn't break.
oh man.
I can remember many times, and also all you can hear really are the gears and servos going off near your ear. So it sounds like you have like a hornet nest on near both ears.
Right.
People are saying cut, you can't hear it, and so you just keep going, and someone has to come up and tap you like it's okay, you're okay, cut, cut, cut. And did the glass break? Like,
Yeah.
no, it
Exactly.
didn't break. Like, okay,
Exactly.
because no wonder
You
I
can
had
stop headbutting now. You can stop
right. Yes.
headbutting Godzilla. What is the difference between being the physical suit and the motion capture version of Godzilla? Is it a different kind of performance while you're in motion capture?
Yeah, yeah, it is. And the producers told me that they didn't end up using any of the motion capture work that we did. Although I know that I worked for like 8 hours with the director Roland on a couple of scenes in the motion capture studio. What I always liked about motion capture is there's a lot of imagination in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that dance between what the computer brings to the table and what the motion capture brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the animators, they had me do some scenes where they wanted Godzilla running down the street. And they would put up a wireframe on a TV monitor so I can see where the buildings are and so I can stay on track on a treadmill. We did a take and I accidentally stepped on one of the buildings. And the animator was like, "Oh, Kurt, don't worry about that. I can move that. I can move that in the software. I can move your foot, no problem." I said, "Oh, you can do that?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah. You don't have to be that specific."
Mm.
So in a way that makes my job. Oh, that gives me more tools in my toolkit because sometimes especially when I just started working, it was run down the street, don't hit any, and you just think, well, don't hit the buildings because they didn't tell you to hit any buildings.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, when I worked with Roland on these two sequences, if the take isn't going well, we'll just cut and we'll just go again. We don't have to change lenses, we just go.
Yeah.
Roland pretty much let me do exactly what I wanted to do. So I remember this one sequence that we did. And then when I went and saw the movie in the theater, and I said, well, Godzilla's going to step, stop, look to his right, look, step. I knew exactly what was going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe the producers if they said they didn't use any motion capture, but I sure did know those two, especially those two sequences, exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
The motion capture, it's very fast, opens up possibilities. In the movie, I think there's gumballs that they throw on the floor and it makes the baby Godzillas fall.
Mm.
And so we were trying to figure a way to do that realistically without looking like it was forced.
Like slapstick kind of.
Exactly. I took a page out of a newspaper and put it on the floor of the motion capture stage, and that was it. That was exactly what we needed, and we got some very realistic falling scenes.
Cool.
That's just an example of like what you can do it with motion capture.
You said you worked on Dungeons and Dragons as well.
I played a dragon at the beginning of the movie.
Mm.
Yeah, the dragon is being controlled by a warlock or some man with magical powers, and the dragon doesn't want to be controlled by that. And
Mm.
it was also great that the director actually came in to work with me. So you get exactly what you need. You know, I need A, I don't need B. So we're going to
Yeah.
do A.
Right.
Because sometimes when you get instructions, you're like, well, maybe I want to add something to it. You know, like I'll give them more than they wanted. Like, sometimes that's not the thing. They just want A. Don't give them A and B. Just give them A.
Right. Right. Is there a point where you're able to kind of in the suit and performing, you're kind of get lost in that, almost like you're kind of in the flow state of being that character, or do you get interrupted a lot with the kind of like start and stop, or do you get that moment where you kind of become that character and you kind of lose yourself?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and that's a great question. I hesitate to answer it because it's going to sound like I'm trying to be like the Laurence Olivier of superfilm.
No,
Uh,
but I think
But no, no, it's a valid question.
yeah,
Let me answer it a couple ways. I had
sure.
my one movement teacher who was in Mom and Chance on Broadway. Said he was playing a fly. He had to play. They were doing a scene where he had to play a fly, and he said that there was a moment when he was on stage that his brain went to, "I'm a fly.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
not a human anymore. I'm a fly." He said it just lasted for an instant,
Yeah.
and I know that I've been on, like, if I was in the Godzilla costume,
Hmm.
and sometimes you would just like, I'm just gonna kind of go with it. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
kind of go with what they want me to do,
Hmm.
because sometimes there's very specific things that they want you to do. Like there's a building in front of you. You have to hit it's scored on the back of the building, but you have to hit it exactly right. And I can't see what I'm doing.
Hmm.
It would be one thing if I was an actor and like, put your fist through this mark. Like, well,
Right.
okay, great. When you're in a monster suit, a lot of times you can't see what they want you to do. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to use, I don't want to say the force, but you kind of have to just get in there like and hope that it works.
Right.
I had to do a scene one time where I was playing a moose that sang. I was in this musical where
Mm.
I was a singing moose.
Hmm.
It's 3:30 in the morning. It's freezing outside, snowing, and I have to sing a song, and then I have antlers on, and I have to pierce a dummy, and then pick it up, and then we're going to cut.
Gotcha.
And the effects people say, okay, we put two slits in this dummy, so that's where you go in. And like, good luck trying to get these antlers that are way out here
Yeah.
to uh and I was able to do it on the first take, which was great. But that was just purely like, you just got to go with it. Like,
That's
I'm
right.
gonna,
Kind of hone
just,
in and
yeah,
just go for it.
right. You're like,
Yeah.
like,
Use your
everybody's
senses.
gonna love this if it's 3:30 in the morning, and because they kind of budgeted like this is gonna take 45 minutes to get this shot, and
Right.
we did it in one take. So
That's awesome.
but yeah, it was that case where like I'm just going to do it. It's
Hmm.
just going to happen, and that's all there is to it.
Hmm. Nice. How do you prepare for an audition for a motion capture gig?
Right. Well, like for Godzilla, my audition was kind of like a motion capture audition
Hmm.
because after a couple of meetings and everything, they showed you a maquette of this guy here.
Hmm.
uh, because they told us initially, like, don't think of the old Godzilla. This is a completely different Godzilla. So when they got it down to me and a couple other guys, they showed us this guy, and
Hmm.
we were allowed to ask all the questions we wanted to. And then they were like, okay, next week or in a few days, we're going to bring you in and you do your best Godzilla. So it was it was you went to a motion capture studio and you weren't in a motion capture suit, and
Hmm.
people are looking at you and they were like, okay, go. And so you just kind of walk around the stage as if you're in this Godzilla suit.
Hmm.
And then after you do that for a while, the director or people say, do what you just did, but do it as low to the ground as possible.
Mm.
Now, okay, do what you just did, but keep your chest as parallel to the ground as possible, but do the same movement.
Hmm.
Do it as fast as you can, but keep it serpentine and lizard-like.
Hmm.
Now do it as slow as you can. Now go from high down low and keep moving forward. And so it was a lot of jumping through hoops. It was
Yeah.
okay, that's great. Now add this to it. All right, keep those three things we just added. Now add this to it. And don't move your left foot. Keep your left foot there and just move, pivot on your left foot. How would it pivot on its foot? And so the that so that's kind of like a motion capture audition. It also depends on uh, what you're doing. I've auditioned to be got to audition to be James Bond for a video game one time, and
Oh,
but
right. Okay.
they were very specific about this was the Pierce Brosnan James Bond, and they were like,
Hmm.
"We need you to run like Pierce Brosnan, move like Pierce Brosnan, um, and uh, and Pierce Brosnan has a very specific running style."
Hmm.
And so I looked at the movies, I watched the scenes in the movies where he was running,
Hmm.
and I said, like, I don't know if they're really going to want that. Like, yes, that's the way he moves, but at the end of the day, sometimes that stuff gets put aside where they
Hmm.
say, we want you to do it exactly like this. For a video game, it just doesn't look right. It looks good on
Right.
film, but maybe for a video game, it looks a little too robotic.
Right.
So there's a lot of considerations, like when you're doing motion capture stuff, like okay, they said they want this, but I don't think they really want this. I think they want this, but 30% less of it. Same thing, but 30% less.
Right.
And sometimes you just don't know till you get in the room, you get the vibe of the room, and
See
they're
if you can try it out, or you're
yeah,
kind of like, hey, I'm kind of thinking this, or
right,
they see it. Then seeing is believing half the time too, right? It's like you just got to show them, and they go, oh yeah, it is better, thirty
right,
percent less. We see what you're doing, and so there's like a collaboration that goes on there in that
yeah,
process.
yeah.
That's interesting. What is there a character that you haven't been able to play yet that you'd like to play?
Gosh, that's a great question. I can't think of right off the top of my head. I can't think of anything that I've been dying to play. I mean,
Okay.
I've been in a water tank
Hmm.
playing a gill man. I've had my makeup done several times as Frankenstein, but I've never played Frankenstein. I mean, if you get to play Frankenstein in a real movie, that's pretty iconic.
That's the top.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I'm dying to, but if I think of it before the end of the interview, I'll certainly let you
Let me
know.
know. Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. I guess kind of along those lines too, if there was a Mount Rushmore of monsters or actors that or performers that have played those monsters, do you have a Mount Rushmore?
Not really, but I certainly have so much respect for the people, like Rico Browning and
Mm,
Boris Karloff and my contemporaries like Doug Jones and
mm,
Doug Tate and
mm-hmm,
some other people that Derek Mears who do this stuff too. And there's also women who do this too.
mm-hmm.
It's kind of a small fraternity and sorority of people who do this.
I would imagine.
And
Yeah.
with computers, I think this is probably going away.
Mm,
And so, regarding the Mount Rushmore, I there's a lot of people I put up there, and so uh, I have a lot of respect for for people who have done this.
yes.
And
They all get a place
Yeah,
on the Mount
yes,
Rushmore. Really.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, do you think that more and more CG is taking over, or more AI, I guess, utilize AI being utilized in the processes is a hot topic, I think, across all creative fields and all fields these
Yeah.
days. Um, I mean, do you see that, like, that the need for a person is starting to go away, or is there an opportunity to utilize your experience to maybe help influence that in what they're doing?
Yeah, that would be that's almost like, you'd have to be a I would almost think that would almost be like a choreographer's,
Mm,
influence or a position of a choreographer.
mm,
Years and years ago, I was, waiting to watch a movie, and I think it was the first Transformers movie, and a robot was coming out of a swimming pool in the like at noon
mm, mm-hmm,
with water coming off of it, and I sat there and I said, "Wow, that looks really good," and that's not good for guys who play suits and monsters in movies and stuff.
mm-hmm,
Um, the I had a discussion with a producer one time about CG, computer generated stuff, and now this is like 1997, so this is a while ago. And he said every 6 months, those computer guys get 100% better at what they do. And he said right now, the one thing they don't do well is fire. They don't do explosions really well. They don't do fire really well.
mm,
I certainly think they've learned how to do fire and explosions and things like that.
mm-hmm,
So, if it's something that's animated by a really talented animator, um, I could see maybe a choreographer being in there to assist or guide the animators. But those men and women who animate stuff, they're very talented. They're very good
mm-hmm,
at what they do.
mm-hmm.
They're no slouches.
Right,
Um,
right,
and so it's an interesting time in the business right now, and it's going to be interesting to see what wins. Is it going to be Betamax or VHS? Is it
right,
going to, Blu-ray or DVD? Is it
right.
going to be a guy in a suit,
It's true.
or is it going to be it? We can make it look so good by
Hmm.
just doing CG.
Right. I wonder though if there's that whole pendulum effect, right, where it kind of will swing back and forth depending on who gets to make the call. I'd heard,
Yeah,
I think I heard that the new Alien movie that they're really touting that they use mostly um, physical
yeah,
effects,
that's
right,
great.
and kind of going that way again and being
Hmm.
like, no, it was scary because of the
Right.
physical and the real things in on camera, right?
Yes.
So it's interesting. I wonder too if that might have a pendulum effect back to that as other things get more cost effective. Maybe they maybe they want to opt to still do that more.
Right. Well,
You know.
I've done a number of low budget movies, and they can't really afford CG. So,
Mm-hmm.
you're in a monster suit on set. I know Len Weissman, who directed the first two Underworld movies.
Mm,
He liked having guys that he could walk up to, and he liked having them right in front of the camera. So the
mm-hmm.
lighting was the same; it matched the other actors in the scene, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no color correction or anything like that.
Right.
Or minimal color correction. But maybe it's but if uh, guys in their 20s coming up, if
Mm-hmm.
they learned how to animate, they went to some animation school or they learned it on their own, and
Mm-hmm.
they're good enough at it. Like I can. I don't need a guy in a suit. I can just, animate this myself. Like the most recent, Godzilla movie, that was all
Mm-hmm.
CG,
Mm,
I believe, and it looked great. It looked
yeah.
great. I mean, they won an Academy Award, so
Right. Right. True. True. It seems too that there's that kind of move towards what AI can do two things, like almost adding a new filter or adding a new flavor or whatever, in changing the style over a human performance. It seems to be kind of an interesting approach that I've
yeah,
been seeing in integrating that into filmmaking. So
yeah, yeah,
I would imagine that there's a place for that, for kind of as a continuation of this art. You know, um,
yeah. Maybe there needs to be some kind of breakthrough. Maybe there needs to be some great movie that makes
a gazillion
buckets of
dollars.
money
Yeah.
with a guy in a suit. Like when I heard, I don't know how many years ago. It was a while ago that they were going to make a Godzilla movie, and uh, I had a small relationship with one of the executive producers, and I sent an email just throwing my hat in the ring, but it was futile because I guess it was all pretty much, maybe motion capture and
Mm,
CG. But something. there's something about me that I would love to see a big budget Godzilla movie with a guy in a suit walking through a miniature set.
Mm.
Just, but it takes guts. It takes a lot of guts to do that,
Hmm.
and I can understand why they wouldn't do it. But I just think that would be really, if they pulled it off right, I think it'd be really cool.
Especially with the volumes that you can shoot in now
Yeah.
for other things, and then you have real things in the foreground.
Hmm.
Let's get all Laurence Olivier again. But do you find that this kind of line of work makes you kind of just appreciate or think about things in real life differently? You know, like people, how animals move. I mean, you study those kinds of things in a different on a different level because of this kind of work.
It all kind of boils down to when you show up on set and you're in a monster suit and you're on the spot. You're standing on your mark and the camera's about to roll. Like, you better have something, something ready,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and you better have a lot of stuff ready in your back pocket. So uh, sometimes, like for Godzilla, I didn't when I auditioned for that, I didn't want to leave any stone unturned. So I went to the zoo literally. I went to the reptile cages just to remind my. I know how snakes move. I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to be told how to do that. I know how crocodiles move, but I went there and just like, yep, okay, I was right. Yep, that's how it's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I played a creature in this movie that came out last year, and it's we kind of decided it's not a bear, but it's like a bear.
Mm.
And so I made sure that I had the foot pattern right, because I don't want the director saying that's wrong. That's not
Mm-hmm.
how this would move. So I'm ready to do it correctly the way a bear would walk. I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready to do it the opposite of how a bear would walk. I'm ready to do it the way a dog might do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or a wolf, or a cat. You're just ready for that stuff because you don't want to, you want to obviously uphold your end, that's your job.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to do that stuff. And sometimes you just don't get a lot of rehearsal with the director. You show up and they want you to be a fully formed thing ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's research that you do, but you don't talk about it. No one wants to, as I've said, no one wants to hear what the guy in the rubber or the woman in the rubber monster suit has idea about the scene. Nobody wants to hear that. So keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself. Just do your job, do the best you can, and give them what they want, and they'll love you for it. They'll get their takes in, and then they're moving on to the next setup. So
Makes sense. That's good advice. I'm sure anybody who's wants to try it, it's good advice as well.
yeah.
What are you working on now?
I'm working on a little script story idea for myself, and like an actor, you're looking for work.
Mm-hmm.
You're always looking for work and for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a couple of projects in the pipeline that haven't come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea when those are going to see the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
Working on this little story project, I have some other personal projects that I want to shoot for myself, and looking for work.
If you couldn't do it, the costume, the monster suits anymore, what would you do? Would that be writing?
No, I think I'd rather acting. That would be a lot. That would be a lot of fun, I think,
Mm.
because I have been an actor on a few things, and it's pretty easy to be on
Mm-hmm.
set and not be under 3 inches of foam latex, um, because like, oh wow, I just have to do this. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, just say these words. Okay, I can do that.
Yes.
Um,
While the other actor is complaining about their latte, you're like, really, really? Because I think this is
I got
fine.
I got buckets of stories about
I'm
that
good.
of people. Oh, my shoes are too tight. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
Walk,
heard, there's not enough foam in my latte. Like, okay,
yeah, walk a mile in my dragon suit, or
yeah, I haven't gone to the bathroom in 8 hours, but okay, yeah.
yeah, it's great. And is there anything that continues, film wise, theater wise, that continues to inspire you to keep being creative?
I would say, you know what, chasing the not chasing the work, but doing the work. I really enjoy being on set.
Mm.
I really enjoy uh, exceeding expectations of the people on set. Like, wow, that was really great.
Hmm.
Uh, we didn't think you were going to do that.
Hmm.
I shot this thing a few years ago where uh, afterwards the producers came up to me, wow, Kurt, we did not know, because they didn't hire me. Someone else hired me and I was recommended. But they were like, we did not know what to expect. That was great. Thank you so much. You saved us so much time today, because we thought we were going to be in there for an hour shooting this scene and we did it in 20 minutes.
Hmm.
So I really like being on set and exceeding expectations and surprising people in a good way.
I love that too. That feeling of the camaraderie and the you nailed the take.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. I think that's what a lot of us continue to chase. So,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate your time today, Kurt. It's been great talking with you,
Thank you very much. Likewise.
and hopefully we can do this further in the future.
Absolutely. No, that'd be great.
Awesome.